Age of Ultron, bleh. Infinity, bleh. AVX, bleh. Axis, bleh. Original Sin, bleh. Oh, my bad, guys. How you doing? Peace. Again, welcome to All Things Geekery. Today we're gonna try to answer the question, why Marvel should stop doing crossovers. I mean, for real, they should stop doing Original Sin, blah. Original Sin, blah. Infinity, blah. Yeah. AVX, blah.
Experiment Black Radio.
Radio, sucker never play me. Triple shade of black, then my bleach should never fade me. They say he crazy, New York raised them in the 80s. Killer catch administration, gangster renovation, born of isolation, Asian ill communication, Asian Marvel, fight by acting, pestilential, microscopic soul, sonic remedy, clinic right in the street, operating in the dark, surgery.
For those that don't know me, I am the quintessential Marvel head. I mean, I've been reading Marvel comics since I was 5. I'm 42 now. All day, every day, make mine Marvel. So when I make these criticisms, when I dog Marvel out, when I talk about how Marvel Comics treats me like a wayward stepchild, it really comes from love. It comes from, all full of love. I do this out of love for Marvel. But sometimes Marvel Comics really, to be a person of color and like any kind of speculative fiction in the United States, it's a love and hate relationship, and the same thing goes with Marvel Comics and most fans of color, right? And look, man, I get it. Marvel Comics, DC Comics, they're in the business of selling books, man. I mean, come on, man. I get it, man. You don't have to try to give me that as an excuse. I get it. And you know what? They're selling books. They make these crossovers and they selling books. So I get it, bro. Yeah. And we could do the math, and the issue 1 and the variant covers of all these crossovers, they sell off the rack. And if you don't pre-order them or get them in your box, you probably won't see them. You probably have to wait till like the 3rd or 4th printing to see it. So I get it, man. There's no need to go there. And you guys remember, I remember Secret Wars. I remember Secret Wars, the first volume back in the 80s. It changed the game. I mean, the reason why you have Venom, the reason why Spider-Man switched his, iconic costume was because of Secret Wars, right? We even had a chance to see Ben Grimm go back and forth from Ben Grimm to the Thing, right? Like, all these crazy changes happened because of Secret Wars. And it changed the game on how it was all done. And it sold, it just sold so many issues that it like broke all these records. And I got it, I got it. The number one reason why Marvel should stop doing these crossovers is probably that they suck. I mean, really, like Avengers vs. X-Men, aka AVX, it sucked. Like the actual issues and then the crossovers into the other issues, it sucked. I mean, come on, man. Axis, I mean, just want to throw up. Fear itself, you just want to burn it. What else? Siege, like, okay, whoopee-doo, Ares dies. Whoa, oh my God, Ares dies, right? Like, all of these just like suck. They just really do. And then like Original Sin, you're like, okay, they kill the Watcher, and then somebody takes his eyes and it reveals all these deep, dark secrets that belong to everyone. And these deep, dark secrets are like, whoopee-doo, Nick Fury has been killing aliens that threatened the Earth for decades with these gamma ray bullets. Whoa, like really, like they suck. They really suck. And what bothers me is that these things are written by writers that I admire. So they just suck. The second reason is that Marvel should stop doing these crossovers is that they're very disruptive. They really are. When you're reading like the Uncanny Avengers, which is a really good title, when you're reading Superior Spider-Man, which is another good title, and then they have to do these crossovers where the issues lead. They have these extra stories and subplots that go into those issues. It really takes away from the other issues. I think the best example would be with like the New Avengers, where you have a beef between Wakanda and Atlantis, but then you got to deal with, you know, infinity, and you got to deal with inhumanity, and it cuts into all these different stories that you want them to conclude, you want them to finish up, but they just disrupt these great story arcs that are going on in these other issues that you really like, and then you have to like buy these extra issues to find out what's going on, or and it just really disrupts the entire thing, especially in the titles that don't get to sell as much, that barely make the 20,000 issues per month, and it's just so disruptive to those story arcs, and it really bothers me because, you know, they come out every month, they don't come out every week, so you have to wait 2 to 3 months for that story arc to conclude. The third reason is that with these crossovers, Marvel really sells you just a really bad can of goods. You know, they'll say, "Oh, this is going to be a life-changing event." Like for example, like in AVX, Avengers versus X-Men. Okay, issue 11, they kill Professor Xavier. I think that's a big deal, but they could have done that in any X-Men title. You know, Nick Fury becomes the Watcher. Like, you know, first, who cares? Like, who cares? Like, first of all, it's a dumb idea, but who cares? But they're always selling these things as big reveals and big things that are going to change the entire Marvel universe forever and ever. And it doesn't really do anything that's that dramatic, and it's not doing anything that couldn't be done in those individual stories. You know, like you could have done a separate Shield story, and then just, you know, redone the Secret Warriors and then revealed that information to everybody else. That way, if you really cared about it, if you really, you know, I read Secret Warriors and I loved it, I probably would have read that story. But somebody else who obviously didn't read it, doesn't care, probably wouldn't read it. And that's fine. And, you know, you can read whatever you want. But they just sell us a really bad can of goods and expect us to be happy about it. They expect us to buy all these issues, and it just doesn't work. So it's kind of like, oh, you know, just this big story is going to come out and it's going to change everything and shock you. And it doesn't. And then it's like, you could have done this in any issue. You know, you could have done Infinity in any new Avengers or Avengers title, or in Guardians of the Galaxy. You didn't need to do this big giant crossover and force readers to buy all these different books. Which leads to the fourth reason, money. I mean, again, I get it. You got to sell all these books. I get it. But why are you forcing me to buy titles about characters that I don't really care? But I need to buy these titles to kind of like know how this particular crossover event affects everyone, and you're forced to buy it. I think AVX was probably the worst. Like, you had to, you know, buy AVX thinking that you're going to have these stories of these characters that you love fighting against each other. And, you know, this is barbershop debate. This is comic shop debates. Like, ooh, what if, you know, Hawkeye fought Archangel? You know, like, that's a question that some people have, you know. But in the actual AVX story, you know, the 12-issue limited series, that doesn't happen. So you had to buy the 6-issue limited series AVX, where they show these different heroes fighting each other, and it was kind of like, wow, you really wasted my money, you know, like, because they happen and they're just redunculous, and it was just a waste of money for the average reader. And most of us are not Daddy Warbucks. Most of us can't just go in there and buy the whole thing, and you can't. I can't really afford to buy the hardcover paperback. I mean, excuse me, the hardcover trade for $300. You know, like, who can do that? So it's a waste of money for the consumer. Well, I hope you enjoy this episode of All Things Geekery. I really appreciate you guys checking out the other ones. I know the other ones were kind of departure of what I wanted to do, but thanks again. If you disagree with me, you have any ideas, any questions, go ahead and put it down in the comments. You guys take it easy. And again, make mine Marvel. Peace.